Hello and welcome to the McDonald's Hinders County Sports Show on audiosportsonline.net and XRB Radio, the voice of Hinders County. Upcoming on this episode, we'll have plenty to talk about tonight as we have a bunch of guests here tonight. We'll be joined by Avon assistant basketball coach Tom Maples, and we'll also be joined by head coach of the baseball team, Troy Droshi, to talk about the upcoming baseball season. Plus, we'll review all the action from around Hinders County sports, including some of the recent sectional talk. The McDonald's Hinders County Sports Show is brought to you by your local Brownsburg McDonald's. You can try a 4-piece McNugget now for $1 or a 20-piece McNugget for $5. You can have them plain with sweet and sour, barbecue, honey mustard, or ketchup. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, 2014, from the State Route 267 McDonald's in Avon. This is the Hinders County Sports Show. I'm your host, J.P. Sinclair, and I'm joined by Avon assistant basketball coach Tom Maples. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's really our first time having you on the show. We've had Coach Young and a couple of the other assistants come and join us on the show, so it's your first time, and you excited for it?
I am excited.
All right, well, let's get right into it. It's been a while since we have had the opportunity to talk Avon basketball, due to scheduling conflicts with the snow and then a couple of other things with the weather we've had. But, last time we really talked was right before the Hamilton Southeastern game. But let's go and take a look at some of the recent games that's been played for your team, particularly from the February schedule. The team's been 2-2 thus far this month, and I know coming into the season that Coach Young really wanted to be peaking at about this time of the season. How would you feel this team is doing in contrast to that goal?
I'd say we're not quite peaking at this time, but we are slowly but surely getting there. It's been baby steps with this group. A lot of inexperience, a lot of youth. Even some of our seniors are fairly inexperienced when it comes to varsity level competition. But I see it every day in practice where the kids are sticking together and they're working very hard. And it's baby steps, and by no means do I think we've peaked yet, but I'm confident we can make that happen here in the next couple weeks.
Well, the last time we talked to Avon about basketball, there was a little bit of a starter change-up. That was back in the Noblesville game when Andrew Short got his first start the following game against Decatur. How do you think he's fared thus far? Is he still starting, or is Ryan Ruff back in the starting lineup?
Ryan Ruff's back in the starting lineup. Andrew gave us a spark that week of the Noblesville, Decatur area, and he was a real spark off the bench and did not play like a freshman in the evening. I believe it was the Noblesville game when we needed a spark in the second half. And he gave us that energy and played confident. And we had some kids dealing with some mental blocks that evening, and they just didn't perform up to expectation. But they're back now. Ryan's performing at the level we need him to, and as is Jack McHugh, and Andrew's back to coming off the bench for us, and for a freshman, handling the ball and playing the point guard position and handling the pressure the way he has this year. He's doing a very nice job, and we're really excited about the future with Andrew as our point guard.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it. Andrew's only a freshman. You have guys like Jack McHugh who's only a sophomore. You do have some senior leadership on that team, but all in all, it's a very, very young team. So obviously you have a good nucleus going forward in the future, particularly when you have a true point guard like Andrew Short to look forward to up in future seasons. But let's go and take a look at that Lafayette game, the Lafayette-Jeff game. Avon came away with a 56-50 victory, and it was a really solid play in the fourth quarter that helped this team get the win. The team only missed one shot in that quarter. How happy with the team's offensive execution were the coaches after that game?
Yeah, the fourth quarter was huge for us. We weren't real sharp that entire evening, and to Lafayette-Jeff's credit, they did what they had to do to stay in that game, and they were well prepared for us, as I thought we were for them as well. But we just weren't quite as sharp as we would have liked to have been those first three quarters, and I think we fell down 8 or 9 points early in the fourth quarter, and to credit our kids, they hung tough, and they stuck with the game plan, and they made the plays that we needed to make down the stretch.
Well, when you look at that game, the imperative importance of a guy like Logan White in that one, your team didn't necessarily have the lead until that fourth quarter, but Logan White, particularly with his ability to get the offensive rebounds, really kept your team into it. What does it say to a player like that and his work ethic?
Logan was really good that night, if I remember correctly. It's been a couple weeks now, so we played a few games since then. But yeah, Logan was really good for us that night, and he's just a hard-working kid. He's a blue-collar kid. He does a lot of the little things that don't always show up in the box scores, but we need him to be that guy. And unfortunately,
he brings a lot of energy and passion.
He does do that, and he brings a toughness to the floor that we definitely need. But the unfortunate part of that is, I believe it was the Monday after we played Ben Davis. He turned his ankle pretty good in practice, and he had to miss this past weekend and the games against Westfield and Pike, and he's going to miss at least another week. And we're hoping to have him back by sectionals.
I did not know that, so that'll be something tough. Hopefully, you do have him back. But it was also, you look at a guy like Connor Funkhauser in that Lafayette Jeff game. He's really been a workhorse all season long, just like he was last year. He scored 16 points in that game. It being his senior season, how do you think he feels? As we're starting to near that ending point of the season now, you got sectionals coming up, and he wants to end it on a high note. How do you keep him kind of contained?
Sure. Connor's a kid who wants it so bad, and I know that based on last season, some conversations I had after the season ended, and it ended in the sectional with a defeat to Pike, and being a senior and being his last run at it, I know that he wants it as bad as any of them. From a scoring standpoint, Connor's been really, really strong at scoring the basketball for us. We've got to get him locked in a little bit more defensively and a little bit more specifically in help side. We've got a big matchup this weekend with a true post player in Trevor Lockwood for McCutcheon, who's got some very nice size to him and plays real well with his back to the basket. And we're gonna count on Connor coming from the weak side and providing some help at times throughout the evening. And we just need to get him locked in on both ends of the floor. But he's from a scoring standpoint, he's huge for us, and he's just got a knack for finding the basketball and putting the ball in the hole.
He's almost like a very, very athletic power forward, but typically you look at him, he plays more like a small forward, particularly from beyond the arc. But he has that type of athleticism to play in the paint. Does that kind of help when it comes to trying to figure out where he can best be used, particularly on the offensive end?
Absolutely. He's obviously very versatile, and he can handle the ball a little bit, and he's actually shooting it from behind the three-point line at just under 40% this year, which is really well. It was very good. And he's improved his foul shooting tremendously this year. I think he's around 74%, which is up from about 53% last year. And with his ability to get to the basket and draw contact, and his versatility is outstanding for us offensively.
Well, following that game, the team had to take a very, very tough 9-8 Ben Davis team. And they took them to the brink, but they fell just short, 55-50. Can you tell us a little bit about that game and how your team was feeling following that one?
Yeah, it was disappointing. We played maybe some of our best basketball that evening, at least for 3 quarters. And this group, they like I said, they're sticking together and they're hanging tough and they're fighting every night. And we're still looking for that signature win. I think out of our 8 wins going into those games, I think those are 8 games that we look at on the schedule and think, you know what, we probably should win those. And there's a toss up of games that maybe we shouldn't, or maybe it's 50-50, and we're still looking for that signature win. And at one point through 3 quarters that evening, I thought that was the night that we were going to get it done. And unfortunately, in the last few minutes of the game, we had a few turnovers and a couple ill-advised shots, and next thing you know, Ben Davis is clawed right back in from being down 10 points late in the third, and they clawed themselves back into it, and they just made a couple more plays than we did down the stretch of the game.
When you talk about Ben Davis, they're a team that's historically known for being a very, very good basketball team. I had the chance to see them when I did a Decatur game. They have a lot of athletes on that front line, but you guys hung with them pretty well. And like you talked about, that signature win, you guys have done very, very good in conference, except with maybe the exception of a couple games to Brownsburg. But all in all, the past 2 wins this month, the 2 wins that you guys got this month were in conference play. So that has to be something that you feel good about because you head towards sectional time.
Yeah, absolutely. Our conference it's legit. It's legit every year, and it always is a humongous challenge for us. And there's a lot of those opponents in conference play that they're a toss-up. They could go either way very easily, and unfortunately, there's just been a few more of them not go in our favor. But we've got another opportunity this Friday night against a really solid McCutcheon team. I think they come in at 13-5, and I've seen a lot of film on them already, and we've seen them live, and they're a strong ball club, and this could be that signature win for sure if we can get this game on Friday night.
Yeah, another one of those conference wins that the team got was against conference foe Westfield, and you guys really dominated that matchup. 72-59 was the final in that one. And really the offense and defense was pretty much there the whole way, something you had to have been happy with.
Yeah, absolutely. We got it going early. I think at one point we were up 17-2 or 19-4, something like that. But Brandon Peters got off to a hot start. I think he hit 4 threes in the first half, and at one point they went to a box and one on him and kind of took him out of things for a little while. And that after he made a few shots, which was fine, it opened up things for Connor Funkhauser, and Connor had a huge night. He had 27 points and 18 rebounds for us, and he was very, very active, especially for those first 3 quarters. I don't know exactly how many minutes he got in that fourth quarter, but we carried a pretty good lead throughout through halftime and throughout most of the second half, and we're able to get some of our subs in there and get some of those starters some rest.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Brandon Peters. I mean, I know earlier in the season he wasn't shooting the three, at least in the first couple of games on the season, but as of late, as the season's worn on, he's become more and more comfortable beyond the arc. How much versatility does that add to the offensive end for the team?
Brandon is an incredible athlete, and some things that he can do on the basketball floor are things that I haven't seen out of really anybody that's come through Avon in my 10 years there. And he has an ability to really shoot the basketball. And I think with Brandon, he'd shoot it for a lot higher percentage if we can get him dialed in on taking great shots. With that being said, he's got the freedom to take some of the shots he does because he's proven in practice he makes them, and he can make tough shots with people with hands in his face, and he has an ability to make shots under duress like no kid I've ever really been around. And with that being said, he has a tendency on game night he'll take some difficult shots, and here in the last 5 or 6 games, I think he's right about 39% from behind the arc, and Brandon's a lot better shooter than that. When he gets clean looks, he's probably up closer to 65-70% when he gets good clean looks. But if you notice, he doesn't get too many of those. The opponents know that, and they don't want him shooting those good clean ones. So.
Being the quarterback, he's probably used to having a defender sometimes in his face, so he kind of gets used to that.
Yeah, he's got an amazing ability to handle pressure, and I noticed it last year as a freshman when he hit a couple big threes when he was under some duress, and they were eye-openers, like, wow, like this kid's got it, he's special.
Got talent.
And he has a chance to be just that over the next couple of years here for us.
Well, against Pike, the team did struggle. They gave up the games 58-76. The team played very well in the fourth, outscored 24-19, but it seemed like it was just a little bit too late in that Pike matchup.
It was too little too late. We buried ourselves in that first half. We, our shot selection wasn't great. We sped ourselves up when Pike went on a couple runs in that first half. We kind of sped ourselves up and just tried playing too fast, trying to make up for that 8 to 10 point deficit, 12-point deficit, all in a couple possessions, and we just got to slow ourselves down. And going back and looking at the film, it was a little disappointing. The effort wasn't where it needed to be either, and it wasn't where it usually is with these guys. We've got a great group of kids that play awfully hard night in, night out, and unfortunately on Saturday afternoon it just wasn't there. Our transition defense was really, really poor. Got beat, just running the floor, and those are effort plays, and that was a little bit disappointing. But like I said, we had a great film session on Monday with the kids, and broke it down for them and looked at it and where we made our mistakes, and I'm confident we'll bounce back on Friday night with a lot stronger effort.
Yeah, I mean, running the motion offense, there's a little bit of lack of an effort even from one player that can really slow the entire team down from an offensive standpoint. So
absolutely, when the players stop moving, the ball stops moving, and we don't get the shots we want, and it carried over on both ends of the floor, and it just wasn't anywhere where it needed to be on Saturday against Pike.
Senior Jalen Morgan for Pike was a very dominant force. He scored 28 points in the game. Was there a game plan during the course of the game to try and slow him down as he continued to get hotter and hotter from the floor?
It's funny. Obviously 28 points is huge, and you look in the box score and think, well, could they not have done anything to stop him? Well, their size and their length really bothered us, and out of those 28 points, I don't have a stat for you exactly on it, but I would say 10 to 12 of those were just on offensive rebound putbacks where, again, it comes down to effort and getting a rear end into somebody and blocking them out and keeping them off the glass, and again,
without a guy like Logan, that also hurts.
That hurts a great deal, and great player, take nothing away from his effort that night, and his size and his length really bothered us. But they had some other kids that had some decent size on them too that we had to had to have our minds on as well. So.
You talked about that McCutcheon game. That's who you guys have up next, and they're having, like you talked about, a very solid year. They're 13-6 on the year, and this will be a pretty good test for the team as sectionals are really right around the corner. It's
a great test for us. I talked to the kids about it yesterday after film. They're very comparable to some teams that we'll see in the sectional from a standpoint of to compare them a little bit to Brownsburg. They do a lot of different things defensively. They mix things up on defense a lot the way Brownsburg does. They play a similar style to a Martinsville, to a Mooresville. So it'll be a great test for us heading into sectional. And like I said, they're very well coached. They're disciplined. They've got a really nice post player, some nice perimeter players to go around the post player, and this could be that signature win we've been looking for all year, and we need it. We need that heading into sectional. We need these guys to know that we can get over this hump and knock this wall down and get that big win before the sectional kicks off.
Now, you said in the film against McCutcheon, they mixed it up, kind of like you said Brownsburg does. They'll switch from a man-to-man to a zone and sometimes even corner traps. How do you plan offensively using the motion to try and kind of slow them down a little bit and get the ball to the middle of the paint to try and open it up?
Yeah, exactly. Again, I've watched most of the film on them at this point, and they'll mix up some 2-2-1 full court pressure, and the guards really come up and are going to try to pressure our guards. They mix in some 3-2 zone, they mix in some 1-3-1. Haven't seen a whole ton of man out of them, but not to say they won't throw some man at us. But they try to keep us off balance with all those different defenses, and our kids have done a great job these last two practices. In just mixing up what we want to do offensively. I feel like we've got a pretty solid game plan in place right now for what we want, how we want to attack it offensively. We'll get some guys flashing that high post and hopefully play inside out against the zone as well. Try and pick our spots and where we can screen in the zone and hopefully get our shooters some shots on the outside as well.
Okay. I know that you said you'd been at Avon for 10 years, and that's coincidentally the same number of years that Coach Young's been there. So can you tell us a little bit more about your basketball background and how, I assume you've been coaching with Young the whole time there?
Yeah, I have. Coach Young brought me on to staff. I started as his freshman B coach, and I was there for a year, and then I served as his freshman head coach for 3 years, and then I moved up and was his JV coach for 3 years, and now I've been his varsity assistant coach for the last few years as well. So it's been a good run. Coach Young's one of my best friends, and we work really, really well together. And we've got great kids in Avon, and it makes a world of difference because it's a lot of fun to come to practice every day when you've got kids like what we have.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We wish you guys the best of luck going forward. Especially in the near future with McCutcheon coming up. I think you guys have Martinsville after that, and then get ready for the sectional draw. But we'll take a quick step away, and when we come back, we'll talk to Avon baseball coach Troy Droshi and take a look around the county at some of the results from different teams. You're listening to the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show on audiosportsonline.net.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks again for coming out. Sure. So you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hey, Jim.
All right. Yeah, thanks.
You don't want anything right now, right?
No, I'll probably pick something different on my own.
We're going to basically the only things that could really time that we'll probably talk about is just baseball. I know conditioning, conditioning started last month, so we'll talk about how that's going. Tryouts are in March, correct?
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about some of the seniors you lost last year and what kind of holes you're going to have to fill with them moving. So, sound all right?
Sounds fine.
All righty. Welcome back. This is the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show on audiosportsonline.net, and it's brought to you by your local McDonald's. You can try a 4-piece McNugget now for $1 and a 20-piece McNugget for $5. You can have them plain with sweet and sour, barbecue, honey mustard, or ketchup. So welcome back. Now I'd like to welcome in baseball coach. Finally getting some of that snow to go away. Head coach Troy Droshi. And, when you look at the team was 14-12 last year. And I'm sure you're looking forward to trying improving that mark this year.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to this year. I think we've got a great group of kids, and just really looking forward to what this year has to bring.
And the team started winter workouts back in January. Have you had good turnout for that, or are you getting excited a little bit as the snow's melting and spring starts to roll in, hopefully?
Yeah, we're our workouts have been going really well. We still have guys that are in winter sports and in basketball, and they'll be joining us soon. But the workouts have been great. We've been going with a couple conditioning days. We're going with a couple baseball days, and the workouts they've been really good so far.
Yeah, I know one of the things that I always looked forward to when I played baseball in high school was that winter conditioning, starting to work on long throws, try and get the arm warmed up, and just try and prepare for that season you have coming up, particularly if you're on the mound at all. So has that been something they've been working on that much in conditioning, is working on that long throw and just trying to get the arms loose?
Well, we've been more focused on some of the details and just fundamentals, ball drills, some things from a shorter distance that they could work on, with the space and the limited space that we do have. At this time of the year, we been more focused on kind of the fundamentals of the game. Eventually we'll get to the point where we get to stretch it out and throw longer. But with the snow on the ground, it's tough to do that. Our track program, they have a good season ahead of them, and they utilize our field house quite a bit. So we're really limited to the upper balconies of the gym after school, but we can get a lot accomplished, and we actually have.
Is there any cage work going on with that? Because I know when I played at, Broderpool, and we'd always try and get in the cage a little bit. You can go up there in the second deck and try and work a little bit in the cage. Has that been going good for you guys?
Yeah, it has. We've have cage work on the side, some front toss first couple weeks, and then this week we got the machine out a little bit to kind of speed it up. Since we're about 3.5 weeks away from getting going. And then here in a couple weeks, probably trying to get some guys throwing live a little bit and kind of seeing what they can do. Our seniors have been really good. With kind of leading things and kind of getting guys doing the drills and doing things that they need to do and kind of doing that.
So how many seniors exactly did you lose following last season?
Last year we had a large number of seniors. We lost I think 12 seniors.
12. So that's a pretty significant leadership, loss for you guys. But you said you got a lot of seniors this year that were juniors last year. Are you excited about what they're going to bring to the table for you this season?
Absolutely, yeah. The seniors, we should have 6 seniors this year, and I expect big things from all of them. They've been doing a great job with the leadership to this point, with leading the drills, getting guys going, getting them where they need to be. But yeah, they're a pleasure to work with, and I think all of them will serve a very vital role in how well we do this year.
When you lose a number like 12 seniors, that obviously leaves a little bit of gaps in some of the field positions that you want. Is there anything you're looking, any particular necessarily players that you're looking to step up this year and fill some of those roles?
Yeah, we do have a lot of areas where we'll have a little bit of inexperience, but we have a fairly deep program and guys that I expect to do very well this year. We lost our 4-year catcher, Dylan Jones. He's playing at the University of Indianapolis, and
that's a good school right there.
He was.
I'm an alum, so
he was great. He was a great leader for us, great player for us. 4-year starter. But we got a couple guys that are, I think they're going to do fairly well back there. So I'm excited about what they can do.
So you have a couple of guys that might even get the chance to start at that position. So you have a little bit of competition for it.
Yeah, we do. I think we're going to need them both. We got 2 guys that I feel that have the capability of having very good seasons, and there's no doubt that we're going to need both of them to be successful this year. Other than that, our whole outfield will be new. We got some infield positions, but I like what I see from the guys so far. We got some juniors and some sophomores that are going to be competing, and that's what they're doing now. These open workouts that we've had, that we're going to have a good deal of competition for a lot of playing time.
I know that tryouts can be an interesting time because you're sometimes not sure what you're going to get out of it. For example, I only played my freshman and senior year when I played at Broderpool. So, I mean, I tried out senior year because I was friends with the coach and he wanted me to come try out, and I ended up starting on varsity. So how does that kind of affect you never kind of know what you're going to get. You might get a diamond in the rough type player.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the people are, they're coming now to the open workouts, and right now is a really good chance for us to evaluate and to kind of look at the kids over the course of the winter workouts. How they're doing, how they're progressing, how they fit in, and what we always tell the players is that it's a constant evaluation period where just on a weekly basis we're just always looking and seeing where they're at. And with baseball, this year specifically, we only got we get a couple days to try out, and then our spring break hits. So it's we got to have a good game plan ahead of time, and so we're still looking at a lot of guys and seeing where they fit in. But
now, do you have 2 weeks off for that spring break?
Yes.
Like Brownsburg?
Yeah, we do have. We have a 2-week spring break, and our first week the kids have off, where they can go on. We feel it's important for them to spend time with their family and go on vacation, and so they have that first week off. Then we come back, practice a few days, and then start getting to get going again.
So when you look ahead, with that kind of, you have that practice schedule a little bit, getting ready for it, working inside, how do you feel like that works for the betterment of the team as they try and work on their fundamentals now before they can get outside?
Well, we just feel, it is what it is, and we're in Indiana, so, we know we're going to be inside, so we do, just a lot of basic fundamental drill work that's going to transfer, to the field once we do get outside. So we work with a couple guys at a time, and work on their skills and development, and all the things we do, we try to look at how is it going to transfer to once we get outside. Just with their footwork, things like that.
Well, I know I'm definitely excited, if nothing else, just for spring and baseball season to roll around. So, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? How long you've been coaching at Avon?
I've been at Avon 10 years. The first few years I was an assistant. I did freshman for a couple years, JV for a few years, and then when Coach Reeves retired, took over for him. I also coached basketball for a couple years with Coach Young. But this will be my 6 year as the head coach, and just very excited to be in Avon. Love it here. Feels like home. And
did you grow up here in Indiana?
No, I grew up in Louisville. Kentucky.
Oh, that's close enough. I'm sure the weather's not too much different.
Yeah, I played baseball at Marion, and then once I got done there, I just stayed up here, and I love it here. Love it, Indy.
Marion's a great college right there, Marion Knights. So I know that they've had a very good football season program the last couple of years, and very good sports programs overall. So obviously, I'm glad you're excited about the season, and I'm going to have to come out there and catch a couple of games. So. Just waiting for that weather to get a little bit warmer.
Yeah, we are too. We're really excited about the season. We think that we're going to have a very good year. We've got good players. They're very coachable, and just really excited what we can do this year.
Do you know when the first game's scheduled to be yet?
Yeah, we are with that spring break trip, 2-week spring break. That second week, we're actually going to Bowling Green, Kentucky to play 4 games down there. So that second week of spring break is when we'll start. We'll go down there. We're playing 4 different teams from Kentucky. And then once we get back from spring break, I believe we play Ben Davis on a Monday, and then we start our conference towards the end of that week at Hamilton Southeastern, and then that weekend, the county tournament. So, once we get back, we get going pretty quickly.
Yeah, so it's going to be bang, bang, bang. So
it will be.
So they can check out the schedule online if anyone wants to come out and support the team?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go online, check out the schedule. We'd love to have them out of the game, and think that this year that we're going to have a very good team. Pitching should be a strength of ours, and just looking forward to.
You got Marcus Fredwell there working with you, right?
Yeah. Marcus he's helping out. He got him a job at as an aide at Avon, so he's helping us out this year.
I know he's likes to think of himself as a pretty good pitcher. I'm pretty good friends with Marcus. Met him through Audio Sports Online, and we actually do a podcast together. And so we both share a passion for baseball. So it's good to see him getting some good reps, and hopefully he'll help you coach a little bit. So
Right.
well, thank you for joining us. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some of the other sports going on, including some of the sectional results. You're listening to Audio Sports Online and XRB Radio in Brownsburg. Yeah, I wasn't too sure what to look for. I'm like, because last time when we talked to the Brownsburg baseball coach, the co-host that normally joins me couldn't make it today, but he normally takes care of that. Because I'm not even sure if I'll be doing it during spring when they do the McDonald's Sports Show. And he has a little bit more knowledge on Brownsburg's history than I did, so. But did my best to look up some stuff, so.
And it's, season has started yesterday. On the whole,
Oh, I definitely wish you luck as you go forward with the season. I might have to get out there and check it.
yeah, definitely did. Good.
Mark doesn't make fun of me for that one.
Sounds good.
Thank you again.
All right, no problem.
Welcome back. This is the McDonald's-Hendricks County Sports Show on AudioSportsOnline.net, and it's brought to you by your local McDonald's. You can try a 4-piece McNugget now for $1, a 20-piece McNugget for $5. You can have them plain with sweet and sour, barbecue, honey mustard, or even good old ketchup. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the results from around Hendricks County's winter sports, and we'll start with Brownsburg. Like we talked about with the boys basketball team, they continue to roll. They went 2-0 on the week to bring their record to 16-2, which is good for number 4 in the state. We've talked about how well they've been playing, particularly all season long. I mean, their only 2 losses on the year are still to number 1 ranked Carmel and I believe number 3 ranked Hamilton Southeastern. So the Brownsburg Bulldogs still are looking really terrific, and we talked about it last time they won the Hendricks County tournament. They actually won the state title, so head coach Lynch in his first year is having a very, very solid start to his tenure there at Brownsburg High School. And the great crowd came out to support the team on senior night as they went up against Plainfield in a game Brownsburg won by 33. They also had another game where they went into Harrison this week and came away with a 54-31 victory. Senior Trevor Lucas led the way with a team-high 19 points. So they continue to roll, and like we talked about with Avon's basketball assistant coach, as the season starts to wind down, you start looking at sectionals. I'm sure Brownsburg is going to get a very, very good draw with that record that they have. So that'll be something to keep an eye on as sectionals is right around the corner for boys basketball. So the varsity girls basketball team, they concluded their season during the Indiana High School Athletic Association sectionals. They defeated Avon 55-38 and followed that up with a very, very nice win against a Plainfield team, 69-60. But they fell just short in the sectional finals to Mooresville, 61-43. Riley Olmsted scored a team-high 16 and lost. So you look at that sectional, besides just Terre Haute, North, and South Vigo in that sectional draw, there was also Mooresville, who's having an outstanding year in girls basketball, and also, like we've talked about all year long here on this show, the Plainfield girls team, who's just been absolutely outstanding this year. They won the Hendricks County tournament, so that's a very, very solid win for Brownsburg. And we've talked about this ad nauseum on the show, is how well Amy Bauman's has that program rolling, particularly when you lose a player like a Miss Indiana that they lost last year. To go out there and get second up in sectionals is a very, very nice season for them. And they have a couple of very good freshmen like Riley Olmsted, so they have a very, very bright future there at Brownsburg when it comes to girls basketball. Congrats also go out to CJ Damler on his second-place finish at Wrestling Semi-State this past weekend. CJ defeated the 6th-ranked wrestler in the state to earn his trip to the state finals, which will be this weekend in front of a very, very good crowd, I'm sure, Friday night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse. We've talked about it previously on the past with me and Chris Orley when it comes to the wrestling state tournament. That's something that's great to go out and see every single year. So we highly recommend, if you have the opportunity Friday or Saturday, to go out there and check that out because it's typically a very, very good show to go out there and see some of the top wrestlers in the state compete. And between Avon and also CJ Daimler, there'll be plenty of Hendricks County representation out there for that state tournament. The Bulldog girls swimming and diving team concluded a breakthrough season on Friday night at the Indiana High School Athletic Association State Swimming and Diving Championships. 5 Bulldogs competed in 5 different events, recording a pair of team-high 20th place finishes. Freshman Daniel Leclerc finished 13th in the diving regional, so they finished up their season in a very, very nice place, did the swimming and diving team. Let's go ahead and take a look now at Plainfield. As we talked about a little bit, in boys basketball, the Quakers split the week. They went 1-1. They beat a pretty good Cascade team 50-49 in a double overtime victory. Freshman Nathan Mills recorded a game-high 19 while Bobby Jensen scored 16. So, like we've talked about all year long with Plainfield, they're going to have a very, very nice future when his freshman Nathan Mills continues to bloom, and you have a guy like sophomore Max Kurkowski also there in Plainfield. They have a very, very bright future there with that basketball program and head coach Andy Weaver. However, despite beating Cascade in that double overtime, they followed that up with a pretty disappointing loss, 33-point loss to it. Like we talked about, a very, very good Brownsburg team. We talked about how good Brownsburg has played this year. So it's a little bit disappointing. You'd like to see a little bit closer game, but Brownsburg, as we talked about, is a very, very solid team. The girls' team for Plainfield finished, like we talked about, a terrific season out there in that sectional draw. They finished the season 14-4. They beat Terre Haute South Vigo 64-54 in the first round, but as we talked about, they ran into a very, very tough Brownsburg girls team in the semis there before Brownsburg lost to eventual sectional champion Mooresville. Plainfield's Courtney Cloverdale finished 6th in the state title in the state finals for diving. So, congrats go out to her. That's finishing 6th in the state means that you put in a lot of work throughout the year, particularly when it comes to swimming and diving. So, that's something to be very, very proud of, and congrats go out to her for that accomplishment. And lastly, let's now take a look at Avon High School in boys basketball as we talk to assistant coach about Avon defeated Westfield 73-59. Senior Funkhauser tallied a game-high 27 points. Teammates Brandon Peters and Sam Bloom also scored in double figures, but then they lost to Pike, as we talked about, without a guy like Logan White, 76-58. Peters and Jack McHugh led the way in that loss. They scored 17 and 15 respectively. So, as we talked about with Avon, even coming into this year, head coach Young knew they were going to be a very young team. Though they did have senior leadership, a lot of the talent that they do have there is young talent. Freshman Andrew Short, Jack McHugh, and Brandon Peters, both sophomores. So the future also looks very bright there, and it should be interesting seeing both Plainfield and Avon's basketball programs going forward, how well they continue to do. And they still have sectionals coming up where, it wouldn't surprise me at all if either one of those two teams put up a very, very good showing in the sectional draw. In Orioles girls basketball, they concluded their season with an opening round loss to Brownsburg in sectionals like we talked about. The Orioles really struggled this year, and hopefully they'll be able to right the ship coming into next year, and hopefully they'll be able to get a little bit more wins next year. But either way, still a good season, and wish them the best of luck going forward. In swimming and diving, the results are in. The 200 medley relay in the squad of Anna Walters, Emily Smith, Natalie Myers, and Lauren Campbell finished 14th. In the 100 backstroke, Anna Walters finished 15th. In the 400 freestyle relay, and the squad of Lauren Campbell, Natalie Myers, Katie Qualls, and Anna Walters finished 15th. So, very, very good showing from swimming diving state finals. So, Anna Walters had her name come up a lot in the state finals. So, congratulations are in order to all of them, and congratulations for a very, very good season going out to Avon's swimming and diving team. Also in action and taking 4th place at the semi-state championship was the Avon wrestling squad. They had plenty of individual winners, including Quentin Harris at 126, who finished in 3rd place. Evan Elmore at 182, who also finished in 3rd. At the 220 weight, it was Gunnar Larson who finished 3rd, and at 285, it was Guy Henson who finished 2nd. So all of them will advance to the state finals this Friday. So very, very good representation for Hendricks County sports when it comes to wrestling coming up at the state finals this Friday between all the guys at Avon and CJ Damler for Brownsburg. Should be a very, very good show. And like we talked about, that's one of those events that if you can go, you will have your eyes opened if you go to check out the state finals at Bankers Life Fieldhouse this weekend. But that'll just about do it for the show. It's been fun. It's been fun for me particularly because I got to sit in the big seat and host the show this winter season. It's been fun and a very great learning experience for me. McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show is written by me, J.P. Sinclair, and produced and distributed by AudioSportsOnline.net. Some of the music provided from tonight's show is from Mevio's Music Alley. You can check them out at music.mevio.com. Special thanks to Avon basketball coach Tom Maples and baseball coach Troy Droshi for joining us today. Our next show will be in the spring schedule, so you can check that out at AudioSportsOnline.net to find out when that will be going on for the McDonald's Hendricks County Sports Show and see when that first episode will be airing. You can send any feedback, or if you have questions or comments you would like to hear talked about on the show, you can send those to jp.sinclair1988@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at SinclairJP. That's SINCLAIRJP. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, I'm J.P. Sinclair, hoping you support high school athletics as much as we do.